Hello Pisces, Sun sign and Pisces ascendant. This is your forecast for May of 2016. And this month I've made some changes. I've decided that instead of just listening to me, I thought it would be more interesting and hopefully more entertaining just to look at the astrology chart for the month. So this is an astrology chart. It's set for May 1st. And this is the symbol for Pisces that's on the ascendant. Each of these little guys are symbols for the various planets in our solar system. And each of these little pie slices are called houses. So in English, this is basically telling me what's happened in your life and what areas. Okay. First thing that I see is that there's a lot going on in your air houses. The third house of Gemini, the seventh house of Libra, the 11th house of Aquarius. Here is the main point of focus in your chart. Okay, this is Venus, so this is going to be really powerful for you. So this is the symbol for Taurus on the cusp. Venus is the ruler, so you got Venus in its own house. This is the natural ruler of the third house. This is Mercury, so you got the natural ruler in there, and then the sun. Wherever the sun is it's like flicking on a light switch. That's a point of focus, something that you're meant to really study and work upon. So the third house, the house of Gemini, the house of communication, it really tells me in a lot of ways that this is a great month, number one, to be social, to open up to others, to reach out or to reconnect with old friends. And the big thing is it can be kind of a double-edged sword, but you've got a powerful mind this month, a lot of good ideas. Your mind might be quicker than usual, but it can be too much of a good thing, meaning that you're always thinking. You know, it's like you could yearn for an on-off switch. You might have a lot of anxiety. At its worst, you might not be able to sleep well at night or suffer from insomnia. So you're going to be tightly wound this month, and it's going to be imperative that you find ways to let go of your worries, to do your best to detach from those things as best you can. So the big thing is that I see that you might worry, you might fret, you might endlessly analyze possible scenarios and basically drive yourself bananas. So what I would say for you with this energy is you have to really focus your mental energy into positive channels. Okay, so for you, just focusing on what you do have control over is going to be an empowering thing for you. So make sure that you are doing that. This is a great energy for communication, for public speaking, for teaching, for selling, for marketing, for writing. Also, it's great for learning and studying something. So again, the mind and the communication skills for you are really enhanced. Let's take a look at this. This is Mercury. Again, this is the natural ruler of the third house. And what I would say about this is with Mercury retrograde periods, there are a few things that apply. And for some people, it's just usually one thing, which is usually about miscommunication. Since Mercury's in its own house, everything that this applies to is something that you might have to pay attention to. So, typical things with Mercury retrograde. It tends to align with Murphy's Law, and that what can go wrong will go wrong. So I don't say that to make you panic or to think that it's going to be a bad month, but I will say you could have plans that don't work out the way that you had planned them, and you can be frustrated. And instead of getting mad about things, this is like saying you have to be flexible, you have to be patient and adaptable as much as you can. Another thing that I would say is this is not a good time prior to it going direct on May 23rd. It's not a good time to sign contracts or to really, I would say it's not a good time to make any major decisions. This means that you're meant to really be thinking about things in a patient and comprehensive manner so that when you do make up your mind, you know that you've looked at it from every angle and that you've come up with the best solution for yourself. Okay, May 23rd hits, you should be able to feel more confident about whatever it is that you're contemplating. So the last thing, it can mean that technology doesn't work the way it should. Okay, computer problems, printer problems. This, the third house is the house of automobiles. You could even have automobile problems. So just be careful with all of these things. Going back to miscommunication. Make sure you're going the extra mile with being articulate. This is what I'm talking about. Make sure people really are on the same page with you. On the other side of things, make sure you're on the same page with them and you're really paying attention, because this can save you some needless hassles if you are going the extra mile with being very thorough with your message. Okay, now let's look at this. You have Mars, you have Saturn. They're both retrograde, they're both aligned in the 10th house of career. So, this is a big deal, because when these planets go retrograde, it can definitely mean that, well, a few things, that you're not happy with your career, or something feels like it's missing. So especially with Saturn retrograde, if you're not doing the work that you want to be doing, or if you just totally feel like you're on the wrong path, it's going to just be unbearable for you just to stick to the same old plan or to do the same old job. This is about really figuring out what you want in career and facing your fears and doing something about it. So this is interesting because Saturn represents fears, Mars represents courage. Mars is retrograde too, and this can say that there are certain things about your career that anger you, that frustrate you, where you don't feel empowered in a sense. So if you put these two together, you really have the choice of staying a victim, staying stuck, and being really furious about it underneath. Not a good plan. Or you can be determined to be courageous and face your fears. In other words, be a victor. Okay, so a lot going on there about career and life path stuff. So this is like saying that things might not be going right for you. Again, I would say don't stay stuck in anger or fear. Proactively do something about it. Okay. Now, with that being said, ultimately, with these third houses activated, it's a really good month for you to network, to, if things are bothering you, to get it off your chest. Definitely don't hold it in. The people in your inner circle can give you some great feedback, some wisdom, and at the very least, some emotional nurturing support. So with that being said, I do indeed hope you have a great month. I hope that you've enjoyed the new way that I'm doing it and that you found it to be interesting and entertaining, and I'll talk to you next month. Bye-bye.